We are by the sidelines of an analyst briefing for Dairibord Zimbabwe, which is the largest dairy producer here in Zimbabwe, where of course we have seen the results presentation by the group there with regards to how it is that they fared over the 2021 financial year. And now joining us for a conversation with regards to their results is the group chief executive, Mr. Anthony Mandiwanza. So good day and thank you for joining us on our program Earnings Review.
My pleasure.
Fantastic. Just to get started, a resilient performance there where we saw growth in terms of volumes as well as growth in terms of revenue scaling 190%, as well as of course your bottom line which surged 56%. What were the key drivers of this very strong performance despite the headwinds in Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much. The main drivers, of course, were on volume.
Right.
We experienced volume growth 48% on last year. You unpack that volume, the main drivers on your volume are our beverages. You saw our beverages about 59% growth. And then you have the growth on milk-related products, which grew about 32%. And then, of course, the foods also we experienced growth. So on the volume side, the good story is there to drive the top line. And the second issue is around what we call product mix portfolio. As you see, we've got three product portfolio categories, which is the liquid milk, the beverages, and the foods. The foods are higher value, higher margin, lower volume products, right? And then, of course, the beverages, high volume but lower margin. The advantage which you get, of course, on high volume is about your cost. Your fixed cost come down as your volume grows. So that the demand for our products were fairly strong in 2021, which speaks to the brand enjoyability of our offerings. So the brands, the volumes, our capacity to supply, investments which we made to push the supply side contributed to the growth of our volume, our revenue, and our bottom line.
Box standard. Now let's talk about your revenue. You did allude to the fact that 20% of what you received as revenue was actually in the form of foreign currency. And you mentioned the distribution of some of your products into the region. You mentioned Zambia, Mozambique, Botswana, and South Africa. Would you want to speak with regards to that?
Indeed, 20% of our volumes was dedicated to export sales, and our export markets, exactly as you have alluded to, mainly the Steri milk, Fuko, Cascade are some of the products which are in huge demand in the export market. And I think the point that we also ought to make is that the demand for our products in the region has not been satisfied. Right now, we have products which are now into South African market, but going through informal channels, which means deliberately we have not yet pushed our products into the South African market. Why? Because of the supply bottlenecks, which I've alluded to, that the demand and supply gap it is still huge. Right. So we are limited the extent to which we can push our products into the export market. In a way, it's an opportunity zone.
I was about to refer to that being an opportunity. Now let's talk about the $8 million investment that is earmarked for this 2022 financial year. Yeah. Would you want to shed more light where that is concerned?
Indeed. The 8 million which is targeted for, which is the capex for 2022 USD. Number one is to support our long life milk products.
Right.
Number two, to support our beverages. We are expanding the processing and filling line. Number three, our refrigeration system to support ice cream production. we are investing in new refrigeration system to support the production of ice cream products. Number 4, we are looking at distribution to revamp our distribution system. As you know, we use a dual model, a model that is insourcing and outsourcing.
Right.
We outsource for secondary distribution, the independent transporters ferry our products, but we retain the distribution championship on products that are high value, high volume, and we do what we call the intercity primary distribution. We are directly responsible, as well as all refrigerated products. We insource using our own assets for that purpose.
I realize. Now let's speak to the broader picture. From your presentation, you did, of course, highlight the fact that the cost of milk production in Zimbabwe is very much on the high side. And you threw in there a figure, 50 cents per litre vis-a-vis South Africa's 40%, Zambia's 43%, Malawi's 20%. What is the key contributing factor to that? And how can the matrix be changed?
Yeah, the main contributing factor is the cost of inputs for milk production.
Right.
When you look at the stock feeds are very expensive. The reason why that is the case is because of the scarcity of the inputs on the stock feed side. The aspect of imported materials in terms of inputs into your stock feeds is a challenge. Issues of inflation is a challenge. They build up and they affect the cost of inputs to the farmer.
Right.
That in itself is a contributing factor. The second one, which is a very important one, is the decline in the dairy head. I told you that at peak, dairy head was 190,000. And today in Zimbabwe total, it's approximately 40,000. So that huge decline has resulted in the reduction in milk production in the country. What can be done? We are working, all of us as processors, various initiatives to incentivize farmers to grow milk production, expand the dairy head so that you have a critical mass and you have a higher volume throughput, which reduces your unit cost of doing business. So that is very important. Second, it is important that the milk producers, like any other business, must have security of tenure and be able to contract, to subcontract surrounding farms to grow their raw materials which they need for feeding the dairy cows. So that there is a lot of issues which are resident at us as processors, but also equally resident at government through the Minister of Agriculture. Support on extension services, dairy services, as an example, needs to be capacitated to outreach the farmers and be able to work with the farmers on disease control, animal husbandry issues, those broader issues. We need to go back to that model so that ultimately our producer don't rely on bought-in stock feeds, but rather complemented by growing the raw materials to complement your stock feeds.
Quite comprehensive in that regard. Lastly, what would be your outlook for Dairibord for the 2022?
The growth momentum, we are just out of the Q1 reporting.
Of course.
The growth momentum is sustained. We are seeing that moving forward. We are a little bit more optimistic when we look at the investment that we have made into our plant and equipment to buttress the supply side. That in itself will give us that momentum for growth, to sustain growth going forward. Of course, there are headwinds. There are headwinds as we move forward. The disruptions in the world markets triggered by Russia-Ukraine war, the supply side bottlenecks, which will inevitably be a feature, are some of the things that will militate against optimum growth that we see into 2022.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for allowing us the time, and congratulations on a sterling performance despite the economic headwinds.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Much appreciated, sir.
Bye.
Anthony Mandiwanza, the Chief Executive for Dairibord Zimbabwe, where it is that we have witnessed the results presentation for the 2021 performance, and of course, what it is that we can expect from the 2022 fiscus. That's it from the Equity Access team, and thank you very much for watching. Till next time, ciao.
Equity Live presents the complete online interactive presentation solution. Hosting AGMs, media and analyst briefings has never been this simple, efficient and affordable. Communicate globally through a combination of high-definition video and your prepared multimedia presentation from any location of your choice. Interact with your invited participants from all over the world in question and answer sessions and voting sessions in real time on our safe, secure and affordable platform. Contact Equity Live for a free customized demonstration. Equity Live, real-time presentation solutions.